When the local townies tell you to stay on the path and beware the moon, sometimes it's best to listen, lest you'll regret it the next full moon. What's going on, guys? It's your BFF Snowy Oreo 663 here, right now. And for day 16 of the ScareAthon, we have another classic with An American Werewolf in London from 1981. I actually can't remember the last werewolf movie I've seen. Twilight maybe? And for any horror lineup, you have to have at least one in there. I've seen some of the silent era films, but for classic ones, this seemed to be the most commonly discussed. I went in mostly blind, knowing only the opening sequence and the praise for the practical effects, but I'm excited to share my thoughts on this one with y'all. I'll start with a brief synopsis, go into my thoughts, and dive into spoiler territory with a full summary. Ready? Let's go. American tourists David and Jack are heading to bumfuck nowhere, England to do some hiking. They find a small little village with a bunch of weirdos inside, who tell them to beware the moon. Leaving the village and getting lost in the dark, they hear an animal in the distance. Jack is attacked and mauled to death by a creature. David getting scratched but saved when the animal is shot by the locals, turning into a man before its death. From there, David starts noticing strange oddities about himself, and gets an ominous warning of a change occurring to him on the next full moon. I've got a lot of mixed feelings on this movie. On one hand, I can understand why this is considered a classic in the werewolf genre. The haunting sounds of the creatures when they're just out of sight send shivers down your spine. The transformation sequence in this movie is so incredible, holding up even today as an incredible display of practical effects. And don't get me started on spoilers for that. This movie came out 40 years ago and boy got bit by a wolf in a movie called An American Werewolf in London. What the fuck did you think was gonna happen? On the other hand, I think for the most part, this one reeks of missed potential. Aside from the opening attack, the werewolf transformation doesn't affect our main character until the last 30 minutes of the movie, and even after the change, most of the carnage happens off screen. Not to say that there's nothing going on in the middle chunk of this one, but no, wait, that's exactly what I'm saying. To prove that, I'm gonna go into spoilers now. If you wanna skip, head to this time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ow! That was a terrible boo. David wakes up in a hospital bed in London 3 weeks after the attack and is told of Jack's death. He doesn't take it well, but is left under the care of a nurse named Alex. That night, David is visited by Jack's spirit in gnarly as hell makeup showing his attack wounds. For real though, the practical effects of this movie are so goddamn impressive. Sorry I can't show a lot of it on YouTube, but it really is a sight to behold. Anyway, Jack is super casual, telling him about how his parents came to his funeral and whatnot.
Can I have a piece of toast?
David asks him what he's doing there, to which Jack tells him he's under a werewolf curse. Basically, he's doomed to wander the earth forever until the werewolf that killed him, and all the ones the werewolf turns, are dead. David being alive is the only reason Jack can't cross over, and he urges his friendo to remove himself from the census before he turns into a werewolf on the next full moon. By the way, YouTube hates that word, and I'm not going to start saying unaliving, so you have to deal with me saying removing oneself from the census, okay? Anyway, the next 40 or so minutes of the movie is just David and Nurse Alex getting close, and her taking him to her house, and the two fucking forever. This romance is so ass. They have no chemistry, he's a fucking weirdo, and Alex should have no reason to like this obviously crazy individual. The only fun thing in this lame-ass 40-minute block is Jack appearing again, looking even worse this time. After wandering around like a lost puppy for a while when Alex goes to work, David finally transforms, and it's honestly so cool to look at, and it makes up for how fucking lame that middle chunk of the movie was. He runs out and kills 6 people on his rampage, mostly off-screen or with quick cuts of a werewolf puppet. As cheesy as it is, I actually do like how silly these scenes are. This movie works best when it gets to the point, but keeps its sense of humor. David wakes up naked in a zoo, stealing a kid's balloons to cover himself before taking a lady's coat.
A naked American man stole my balloons.
What? A lot of weather we've been having lately.
Why does he absolutely slay that outfit though? As he returns to Alex's house, she gets a call from some investigator dude who's had a little bit of a subplot the whole time, piecing together that David's a werewolf. He tells her to bring him in, which doesn't go well when David learns of the murders last night. He runs away but finds the spirit of Jack again, looking even worse. This leads to one of the most bizarre scenes in the history of cinema. David follows Jack into a movie theater, which is playing a porno. Keep this in mind because the entirety of this scene has the uncomfortable background noises of moaning and skin slapping and what in the ever-loving Jack looks like a goddamn Muppet reject at this point, introducing David to the people he killed the night prior. All of them are doomed to wander until David dies now, each one very cheerfully giving him suggestions on how he can remove himself from the census. David starts going into a frenzy, somehow changing into a werewolf despite the full moon having been last night. Don't worry about it. He kills a few people in the theater and the cops get called, David breaking out and rampaging through the streets. This scene is so chaotic and it's such a good time. These car crash stunts are pretty damn impressive, and while yeah, the werewolf looks a little silly, it adds to the charm of this whole thing. David gets cornered in an alley, Alex running past the barricade into him. She sees what he's become and tells him that she loves him, even though they met a week ago and banged once, and he's been openly admitting to her that he's been seeing ghosts and murdering people. Sure. Anyway, he jumps out to her before getting shot, dying in front of his love, and oh, It's a very abrupt ending. What the fuck? So this film falls into a pit that many a movies fall into. The movie's too horny for its own good. The scene in the movie theater and the extremely awkward sex scenes are the most egregious acts, but also just how much emphasis is put on the sexy nurse character despite her being as bland as unsalted pretzels. I'm just staring mindlessly into the void until something else happens during the middle chunk, wondering why the movie wanted to keep us in suspense about what is gonna happen when it's called An American Werewolf in fucking London. We know what's gonna happen. Hurry the fuck up. I don't want to trash this movie. It's honestly not a bad flick. As my dad says, it's a stoner movie. Pure and simple. Something for you and your friends to get high to and laugh on nostalgia night.
Please note that Snowy Oreo 663 Productions does not condone the smoking of any herbal substances.
I think that the impressive practical effects and intentionally awkward humor offers enough to let this one sit comfortably at 3 out of 5 stars. Thanks so much for watching my video. As for tomorrow's movie, an entire classroom of kids goes missing one night, all except for one boy and his teacher. Which one do you blame? Bye!